reached Samaritans. We'll be with you as soon as we possibly can. Please stay on the line. We're here to offer you emotional support, whatever you're going through. We're putting you through to a volunteer now.
Samaritans, can I help?
Good evening. My name is Howie.
Howie, hi.
Hi. I'm trying to explain that I'm not a human being, but it's very difficult for people to understand that because they, rather than try to understand that I'm not a human being, they just hate me instead.
Okay. All right. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yes, I can't pass government mental capacity exams. Therefore, I'm not a human being.
Okay.
I don't have human rights.
You don't have human rights?
No, they don't exist because in order to have human rights, you need to have the right to instruct a lawyer when your children are abducted.
Right.
And I have no right. If the government decides to smash down the door and take the children away and abuse them, I, as a brain-injured person, haven't got the right to have a lawyer to get the children home, whereas people without brain injuries do have that right.
Okay.
So when you're speaking with me, you're not speaking with a human. You're speaking with a subhuman.
A subhuman?
Yes, like the type that Adolf Hitler would send to the gas chambers.
Right, okay. So basically you're saying because of your brain injury, that affects the way that you are treated?
Yeah, it affects the way that I behave and the way that I'm treated.
Right, okay.
I'm very marginalized. I cannot follow fashion. I cannot wash myself. I can't have friends, and I'm exploited.
Okay, so do you have carers then? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't have carers.
You don't have carers, okay.
No.
So you manage to look after yourself?
Well, it depends what you mean by look after myself. In terms of preventing my children from being abused, no. In terms of following fashion and washing myself, no. In terms of being able to live in a house, no.
So how do you actually exist then, if you can't do any of those things and you haven't got somebody there with you helping you.
So I breathe air. And on top of that, I've tried for a long time to be euthanized, and I can't get my papers in order for that.
Right. So I'm struggling to understand how you actually manage to look after yourself then, if you can't do anything for yourself. How do you eat? How do you live?
It's true. I have atrocious table manners.
Okay.
And
But you manage to eat?
yeah. So, like other people, they would have a dinner time when they would eat with other people. But for me, I go to the restaurant and ask them for some food that they're going to throw away.
Okay. So you do right. Okay. So you do manage to look after yourself, but not in an ideal way.
Not in a fashionable way. Not in the way that other people would do it. For example,
right.
if my guardian was to see me asking for free food from restaurants, they would feel deeply ashamed and embarrassed.
So you do have somebody looking out for you then, because you've just mentioned a guardian.
Yeah, but they ran away because they couldn't cope.
Right. So where are you living at the minute? Are you living in a house? Where are you actually living?
Outdoors.
So you live outside. You're homeless then? Is that what you're saying?
No, I have a wheelchair. My wheelchair is my home.
Your wheelchair is your home, but
Yeah.
you can't live in a wheelchair, can you? Have you got some shelter?
I
Do
manage.
you have some shelter?
Well, not really. I've got a smartphone which tells me when it's going to rain. So I know with that I know when to have shelter from the rain.
Right. Okay.
Because the only time you need shelter is from when it's raining. And
Well, not necessarily. You need it to keep yourself warm in winter, don't you? It's not just a case of when it's raining.
Exactly, I agree with that. But the rain is more dangerous than cold weather. Cold weather will not make you ill, but if you're wet, then you can get ill. The cold on its own is you will feel very, very cold and seek shelter before you get ill. But if you're wet, you can get ill more quickly with the wetness.
Yes, of course, but you can die of hypothermia, and that's just being cold. That's what happens to some people in winter, doesn't it, when they've not got the heating on?
Fortunately, I've not got to that stage yet. That I can become hypothermic and let myself freeze to the point of near death. Not me.
Right.
But I'm a geologist, so I spent a lot of time living in very cold environments.
Okay.
And so I have normally on the back of my wheelchair, when the weather gets cold, I put my duvet in a bag on the back of the wheelchair. It's very thick.
Right.
It's survived Swedish winters.
Okay.
It's the only problem is if it melts a bit, that's bad. But it works okay on the snow.
Right. So how long have you been living outside? How long have you not had a proper home?
Most of my life. Yeah.
Or even when you were a geologist, you didn't have a home?
Well, we had camps, didn't we? We had a camp. Camps that moved along with the project.
Right.
But I'm not really. I'm like a hedgehog. I'm not suited to indoor living.
Okay. So what's made you call us today? What was the reason that you called the Samaritans?
Yes. So I'm being prosecuted again, and
Okay.
and when I try to when I try to do something, it causes me to have seizures. It's
Okay.
It's not easy.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, for example, when I have to think about how much people hate me, I have seizures. And
And
so,
why do you say people hate you? Where have you got that idea from? What's
well,
prompted you to think that?
they're prosecuting me. So they prosecute me because they hate me.
But why? Have they got a reason? Why are they prosecuting you? What's the reason for that?
Yeah. I asked AI, and AI told me that the police are, he said they're officious, and there are and on too many occasions they are called out for frivolous reasons. So in my case, I was in an emergency medical crisis and had to deliver some parts to the wheelchair factory because my deputy had disappeared and abandoned the home where they were looking after me.
So you have had somebody looking after you then. You were saying that you hadn't and that you just did everything yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's like this. Is like I got a deputy about 3 years ago, and they wanted a house to live in, so I rented them. If it was just me, I would just sleep outdoors. So I rented them a house, and I stay there sometimes.
Right. Okay.
And because I was focused on looking after them in a fixed location, I didn't have to travel so much. But when they disappeared, then I had to travel more, and my wheelchair's not suited to it. So I had to take some parts from one factory to another factory, and I triggered a silent motion detector alarm, and the police were called.
All right. Okay.
And so the AI interprets it as the police being officious, like very, like what's I mean, office typey thingies, and their coping strategy in order so that they won't be called out for frivolous reasons again and again, instead of punishing the person who called the police and say, why are you calling out the police? There's no crime being committed. They attack me and prosecute me.
Right. Okay.
Do you understand?
I think so. I think I do, yeah.
But what crime have I done? I went to the factory. I'd phoned up the factory at 4 o'clock. I said, I'm coming. And they said, if you come at 10 o'clock, the gates will be closed. And I said, it's okay, I'll just wait outside the gates until 8 o'clock in the morning. I told them that on the phone. But I don't think they really understood, because they could have explained to me, if you wait outside our gates, there are motion detectors there, and the police will be called. They never they never mentioned anything about motion detectors.
Right. But you were there for a legitimate reason.
Yes. And the person who's building my wheelchair knows it's my home, because they have made a special design on it so that I can use it as sleep on it.
So this place that the police were called, are making you another wheelchair. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that the police are going to prosecute you?
Well,
or
yeah.
you're assuming that that's going to happen?
No, I've got the letter. They're prosecuting me.
Right. But how have they managed to get a letter to you when you were homeless? You have no fixed abode. How have they done that?
Well, they have a computer system with addresses on it, and so they sent one to the address on the computer.
Sorry?
They have a computer system with addresses on it. So they sent the letter
Yes,
to...
I get that. But you haven't got an address, have you?
But on the computer system, there is an
You haven't got an address because you're homeless, aren't you?
Exactly, but on the police computer, they have an address where they can send a letter to.
And you go to that address, presumably?
Yes, I go to that address.
So you have somewhere that you can go?
It's just like a post office address.
A post Right, okay.
Yeah, so I got the letter from the prosecutors they're saying that if they don't get the letter by the 7th of August, then I'm going to have a criminal record. And I have to defend myself. But the problem is that when I try to defend myself, I keep having seizures.
Right, right. And that's the reason that you've called, is you're concerned about the prosecution.
Yeah, the reason that I'm concerned about the prosecution is that the rehabilitation engineer wants me to have an electric wheelchair, but the rehabilitation doctor,
Who, sorry, who wants you to?
the rehabilitation doctor.
Okay.
But the thing is, I haven't got the mental.
Okay.
I haven't got the
So you do obviously, yeah.
I haven't got the mental capacity to rent a home, and I haven't got the mental capacity to have a electricity supply contract.
Mhm.
So therein lies the.
But if you haven't got the mental capacity for any of those, you can have somebody to act for you, can't you?
I haven't got anyone really. All I got was this deputy, and they weren't. I never even got the proper papers for them from the Court of Protection. So they couldn't even submit.
Right.
Yes.
And you've not.
But sorry, I lose focus. I'm just trying to get back to the point. Was that it was about this electric wheelchair. So it's like this. The electric wheelchair was prescribed to me in 2019. And for me to have an electric wheelchair, I have to have a home and a place to charge it up, which I cannot manage because of my brain injury. However, 3 years later, I managed to find a deputy.
Okay.
I found a deputy, and the problem was that. Let me get this one right. If I live with the deputy has to live in an environment where they're not afraid that the police will break in there and steal all their property. Not the police, the bailiffs. That's what I meant, the bailiffs. So if I have a lot of fines, then it works against living in a dwelling with the deputy, because the deputy will be very annoyed when they come home to find the home's been broken into and all their property's been taken.
Right.
So therein lies a problem, is that when I had a deputy, I had a reason to not be prosecuted. But if I haven't got a deputy, they can prosecute the hell out of me, because I haven't got a home to break into and steal all my stuff.
But surely, if from what you've said with your brain injury, you haven't got the capacity, have you? So how can they prosecute somebody who hasn't got the capacity? They can't do that, can they?
Of course they can, because they don't know I haven't got capacity.
You would have to have somebody acting for you, wouldn't you?
Well, I've got nobody, because I don't even, most of the time, if they're prosecuting me, I'm not even aware of it, because I've never received their documentation. I only got the documentation this time because it was because I was doing something medically really important, and the reason that I remembered is because the police negotiated with my business partner and told him not to build me a wheelchair anymore.
Okay.
And that's a very, very, very serious assault against me.
I think we're going to leave it there, I think.
That's a very serious assault against me.
Right. I think we're going to leave it there.
Why?
Okay, I think I think we should leave the conversation there.
Why is that?
Well, I'm still not sure why you've actually rung the Samaritans. To be honest, I'm a little bit.
I'm talking to the
There
Samaritans.
seems to be a lot of confusing things. You are, but I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit unsure as to why you've actually called us. I mean, to be fair, we have been on the phone for quite a while, haven't we?
20 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to end the call.
Can I ask why?